2017, I wanted to become a mother. And my partner and I were having a lot of complications, but we went through an IVF journey, and I found out in June of 2017 that I was going to be a mother because I was pregnant. Our embryo transfer was successful. It was the best time of my life. We were creating the family that we had always wanted, and found I was going to have a little boy. And the pregnancy was smooth. There were no problems. We found what I thought was a great healthcare provider. Actually, my OBGYN was amazing. And when I went in for my anatomy scan is when I realized that something was very wrong. And I received a call from my doctor, and I found out that my cervix was a lot more open than what it should have been. And so she was going to be transferring my care to a maternal fetal medicine doctor because I've now become a little high risk. But that evening, I actually wound up landing in the emergency room. They're doing a scan and everyone's afraid to really tell me what was happening. And I overheard the doctor on call having a conversation with my OBGYN, and they were having conversations about a cerclage. Fast forward, I come out of the hospital. My OBGYN tells me, I think that you need to be on bed rest, just kind of stay off your feet, take it easy. So I go to Scarsdale, I meet this MFM, and she's telling me that I have an insufficient cervix, and that my cervix is opening, and that I can go into labor a little bit early, but we would need to figure out what my options are. And so I'm asking her, I said, okay, so what should I do? Should I go on bed rest? And she's like, absolutely not. You should continue to go to work. You should continue to live your life. You should continue to do all of the things that make sense. And I'm thinking, my OBGYN told me that's the complete opposite. I said, well, can we talk about the option of a cerclage? Because after I found out what it was, that I actually am a candidate for a cerclage. And this doctor looked me in the face and she said, now, I'll never forget it. You've never lost a child before. And so therefore, you're not a candidate for a cerclage. And so I'm like, wait a minute. The goal is for us to make sure that I don't lose this child. She then goes on to say, well, we have someone coming in and I can sign you up for a study. And what I can offer you in place of a cerclage is a pessary. So I get a pessary and I have this rubber donut contraption placed inside of me. And she tells me to just go on and continue to go to work and live my life and do the things that I would normally do. And when I went home and I had a conversation with my OBGYN, she said, absolutely not. But I'm putting you on bed rest. And I don't want you to get up unless you have to use the bathroom. We're not putting pressure on your cervix. And there was one day that I did have to get up, and it was to go visit this MFM again. and I was up a lot longer than I was told I should be. I felt like my child was coming out of my body. And when I got there, she says, okay, well, we should still do this echocardiogram. And she does all of that. And she knows that I am actively in labor. And there wasn't a moment of empathy or sympathy or anything that would make her feel like I need to have some bedside manner to help this woman get through the fact that she's losing her child right now. And she tells my partner to rush me to the hospital, and not the hospital that we were scheduled to deliver in. And I was once again met by a group of doctors that just didn't really seem to care about what I was experiencing. They checked my son. He was fine. He was healthy. His heart rate was good. There was nothing wrong with the baby. And they decided to ask me if I wanted them to induce my labor and force my son to be born early. And I should do so because who wants a child that's potentially going to have problems anyway? And I told them I didn't want to do that. And they sat there and they forced me to make a decision to, I not only gave birth to a son that was alive, that I held, that passed away on my chest, but I also almost lost my own life in the process. I struggled with birthing the placenta. I was hemorrhaging. I was rushed into an emergency D&C to have my placenta removed. I had to have 2 blood transfusions. It's the scariest thing I'd ever gone through. I naturally went into a bit of a depression. I felt like I didn't know what my purpose was anymore. My new purpose was I was going to be Andre's mother. What is my purpose, right? I am now a very, very proud mother of a 3-year-old little boy. But that first experience took so much away from me that it was very difficult for me to enjoy my pregnancy. It was very difficult for me to appreciate just all of the beautiful moments that I was experiencing because I was terrified of what would happen. My son lives on with me every single day, every day. I didn't lose him in vain. I didn't go through what I went through for no reason. I personally feel could have been prevented had I had the appropriate level of care and concern. And that's why the work that Sister to Sister is doing is so important in the Black maternal health space, because it is raising awareness of just the inequalities that exist within our healthcare system that are affecting Black and brown mothers. And when it was brought up that they were doing this work, I immediately raised my hand and I was like, I don't know what I can do, but I need to be a part of it. It was just something in my spirit said, this is what you should be doing. Helping people to understand what some of the things are that I've gone through will help Sister to Sister raise awareness. So that's what I think is beautiful. They're taking real life experiences, they're pairing it with the data, and they're trying to make a change. My name is Khalia Jones, and this was my maternal story.